I'm going to talk about war-driven development. So it's not about new methodology of development, but let me start. Again, my name is Andrey Kucherenko, and I'm from Ukraine. I've been working in software development for more than 20 years, and I do that because I like it, and this is what I can do the best. So during those 20 years, I had chance to work with different technologies, tools, tasks, challenges, business domains. It taught me a lot. In February this year, war come to our house, and I will tell you how a software engineer has to operate in wartime. My talk today is not going to be a very technical. We will talk about technologies a little bit, but more like it's my own story. Uh, so, Also, I'm going to recommend an engineering community named Mass Random, and which I've been running for the last 2 years. Please subscribe us on YouTube and Telegram. So let me start my story. I start my story with my family's story. Early morning of February 24, I woke up in my home in Kiev to explosion outside my window. They were not right outside my house, but they were loud. For the next 2 days, we saw warplanes in the air. We heard explosion and gunshots. 2 days later, we took the kids on the train to west of Ukraine to Lviv. It was leap of faith. We had no way to rent apartment. We had to stay on the train for the entire 10-hour trip. But we were lucky, and we were accommodated in their apartment by kind of people. Thank them very much. Uh, we stayed there almost 3 months before we went back to Kiev. So my story is one of the thousands of similar stories in Ukraine for the moment. But let's go to closer to the development, to the engineering. So first I did during this period, I added information to my GitHub about how people could help to our army. In the community, I told about how people can fight using different attacks methods, how to DDoS, how to hack resources. In my open source projects, I place information about how to help Ukraine as well. I would say, of course, during this period, everyone tries to help each of us, and our family is not left out. I got a moment of satisfaction with such actions, but the war was not over. In 3-5 days after the start of the war, the information field began to appear projects that need help to develop. It was a lifesaver for me. Being a filter for information that comes from the public media was hard. And IT project that I'm good at were interesting, and they very quickly got me involved and allowed me to apply my expertise there. Today I'll tell you about the projects, what I had to do. To be honest, I can't talk more about all projects in details. But I will talk measure goals and measure achievements and probably some challenges what we faced with during the development. In sprint, in start of spring, the most work in Ukraine for farmers. The sowing campaign starts. This spring, the sowing campaign could have been disrupted. The part of agriculture territories was occupied, and it's not clear whether the fields are mined or if the farmers have fuel, seeds, and other materials for sowing campaign. In Ukraine, the Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for working with farmers, and they were the first customers for me and in the project. Literally, in 4 days, 5 people made a web application in which each farmer could report his problem. To screen out unwanted users, we used authentication by Ukrainian phone numbers. Just Ukrainian citizen can log in and send information to the ministry. I would say that our 5 developers act as a team, and each doing what they could and at the moment. Among us, there was a solution architect, chief software engineer, senior engineer, and probably junior engineer. I don't remember his title. And all of us were writing the code, deploying, testing, getting feedback from customer, and quickly change the application. In the end, the application was used by 2,500 farmers, and the ministry helped those who need it. I would say the project is successful project. So next project, it's was a portal to help people in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is the second largest city in Ukraine, and it's Kharkiv located not far from Russian border. Kharkiv was the first city to be hit by Russian army. There hasn't been a day in the last 6 months that Kharkiv hasn't been shelled. There are a lot of people in the city who need help, and in the first day, many people could not talk about their problems. One of the international organizations came to us with a request to help to develop portal to match people who need help and with volunteers who can help. So we started the project with all power of enterprise development. We had business analyst, we had project manager, we had delivery manager, solution architect, backend engineers, front-end engineers, UI UX designers, and DevOps. For the application, we used one of the cloud service for deployment, for database, etc. My role was technical lead on the project. In parallel, I helped with the infrastructure setup. In a summarize, I would say that we were at sprint zero for a few weeks. We're thinking about methodology, how to develop. We're thinking about waiting for some accesses to different resources. We had storm in our team, and we didn't finish this project. A few students from Kharkiv did this project much faster than us. The project was failure for us, but it was useful lesson. Let me introduce another one interesting project, interesting and useful project. After Russia attacked Ukraine, many people and organizations from all over the world started to help us. They sent us humanitarian aid from almost every country in the world. And but Ukrainian laws require a declaration of the import of any cargo. Previously, the process could take up to the 30 minutes, 30 minutes at the border of Ukraine, which is slowed down the delivery of critical goods. The goal of the project was a simplified declaration of imported humanitarian aid. In 2 months, we made a project that could speed up the declaration process by 15 times. During the implementation of the project, we made systems that interact with the various of government services and IT systems. We did this project with team of up to 10 people. To implement the project, we built fast continuous integration and continuous delivery process. We added authentication by phone as an agriculture project. We make a generation of PDF version of declaration. We create special subsystem to send messages to email to people who declare cargos. This project involved people of different levels and ranks. As in the first project, everyone spent as much time as he could and did the work he could. We often involved experts, people who can help us with solving some particular problem. This is one of the most successful project what I've done. I faced with what we done, and more than 3,000 people's. About the 3,000 people's registered the cargo already. Each declaration on the project, it's a multi-ton track of humanitarian aid. So I would say our project speed up this process and help a lot of people in Ukraine. So I would say it's a successful project. And next one project. I got the next project by mistake. The PM from project what we failed asked me, oh, you know AWS, could you please help with Azure? I don't, and I'm not DevOps, but I didn't highlight that and helped. The project was started by a typical enterprise project with a big team, with business analysts, with UI, UX, etc. But for me, I had task like my own startup there. I had to learn a lot of, and I had to apply my knowledge on practice. I accepted the challenge, and sometimes is worked. So something is worked, but something didn't work. I had to ask an expert system engineer for help, and he gave me some feedbacks and helped me with configuring infrastructure as a code. And so I think and I've done everything what I committed there, and I would say the project is successful for me as well. Now the project is at the final stage and going to release soon, and they will help people who run from the war and looking for help in other countries. So next one project is Leleka Me project. Probably only one project what I can highlight URL of the application. The idea is the project is simple. It's a bank of drawings of Ukrainian children, and you can buy drawing, and drawing will come to your email, and money your money move to family of this child. I didn't deal with this project from the finish. I had a discussion with one of the developer, and he described me how they develop it, and also he highlighted that project have a problem with moderating images. They can't process all images fast, and I suggest to make some automated solution. And with this solution, part of images change it of perspective and sizes of images, and align colors of images, and publish it without deeply moderating and editing images. We start this task together with my friend, and we make a special artificial intelligence, machine learning solution, and change images, change drawing, and it's work. And now you can find more than 9,000 images on Leleka Me. Feel free to explore it and buy something interesting. So let me talk about tools a little bit. Of course, if you know some tools, it's the best tool for you. But if you're trying to get information about existing services and tools for developers, what born last time, we can see that a lot of things trying to lower the threshold for entry into IT, and many services are created that simplify many complex and difficult processes and save time. I would say now it's a time to use the tools. For example, in Firebase, Netlify, and DigitalOcean, you can find interesting tool for deployment, for authentication, for data storage. You can use it without deeply knowledge of different kind of SQL or NoSQL databases or something like that. For example, I like a service named Airtable. You can use it as a database for your application, and you easily can create different data structure and save different forms and simple automatization with your data. Also, I can recommend services like GitHub Actions, GitHub CI, and it's a convenient solution for continuous integration, continuous delivery, and it's really important thing when you're going to create fast development process and going to delivery fast. You should have fast tool for continuous integration and continuous delivery. So serverless functions usually can do everything, and in the projects what I described, we use it for backend, and you can use it for backend as well if you have no enough time for to develop backend. So I would say that there are not all projects that I faced in last half year, but they are enough to learn some useful lessons, which could take years in the not war time. Let me share some lessons learned. It's my own lessons, and probably if you start any other projects, lessons will be not the same. First of all, I would say that choose right directions. What I'm going to say here. I have following criteria. The project must help a large number of people. For example, DDoS of Russian resources are interesting. It fits my emotions, but does not help anyone. So that's why I'm switched to projects for farmers, for customers, and projects like that. I feel that I help with the projects much more than with DDoSing of some channels, Russian channels. So next one, act fast. If you choose direction, don't waste time. Don't wait for anyone. Do what you can quickly. For example, you can remember projects what we started as a big enterprise project, and project implemented by a couple of students from Kharkiv. So act effective. What I mean here, nobody do not follow you and looking for bugs. You should understand that what you're doing, it's fully implemented solution, and you check that everything works fine. So next one, it's about help. As you can see, I didn't afraid to ask help from system engineer, from other engineers, and in nowadays a lot of people's ready to help, and you can do that. You can ask experts, you can write some people what you don't know, and ask some expertise and advice during the problems. Feel free to do that. So don't forget to help other peoples. Don't please try to help every who ask this help, and share your expertise as well. So continuously learn. On this topic, I would say that we projects we faced during wartime require a rapid learning, and you can learn a lot of interesting things what in peacetime would take years. For now, in half year, you can learn a lot of useful things what you will apply in future, and I think it makes your experience more expensive on the market. Next one lesson, security. Remember about security, and information is a weapon, and enemy always need it. And don't forget about security. And last one lesson, it's about rest. Don't forget about rest. At the first time, I only slept and programmed, which I had a bad effect for my health. And to get back to the old stage, I had to run 3 times per week. Don't forget about it. So I'm going to finish my presentation, and at the end of the presentation, I'm going to say that I want to thank everyone who, with the effort and experience, helped our country in difficult time. Also, I think people's work and people's involvement can be more important than donations or money, and you can understand what happened with your efforts, and it's useful for us, and it's useful for you as well. So I think that's it from my side. Thank you for listening. Feel free to write me in message.
Thank
Hello,
you so
Katya.
much, Andrey. Yeah, thank you. And we actually have some questions from Taras Lipets. I guess, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, if it's not the full name, I believe this is our previous speaker. Otherwise, this is just a person with the same name, but I believe this is Taras. So the questions are first, serviceless framework versus Terraform Lambda model versus IVS SAM versus AWS CloudFront. What is your preference recommendation?
It depends if you are going to start big enterprise project, and you have a team with experts who can use Terraform. I would say you can use it. If we have no time and limited capacity from team perspective, I like to use serverless framework and deploy to everywhere where, for example, JavaScript can run and get result much faster than with right enterprise process. Last one technology set was serverless framework, Terraform, and last one.
AWS SAM and AWS CloudFront.
If you are going to build a cloud agnostic solution, I think Terraform is little bit better. But if you are going to use just AWS, I like CloudFormation and AWS based solution for infrastructure as a code.
Okay, thank you. The next question from Taras, and we have some more from him. What is your experience for inner team communication? Slack, Signal, Telegram?
During the last couple of months, as I had different projects, and we had a different communication channels. Uh, for some, I had my own Signal, and we use it for communicate with one team. Also, we have Telegram, and use it for communication with another team, and probably Teams, Microsoft Teams. Just three. And one more, it's WhatsApp. It
Mhm.
depends of people who going to help us. We trying to be flexible and ready to work with people on any messaging platform.
Got it. Next one is, do you version your machine learning models artifacts and or training and validation data sets?
It's closed. We didn't share it with the world, but probably we will do that in future.
Mhm. Okay, next one. Do you automate or ask vulnerabilities tests?
Uh, to be honest, for the project we have mm, uh, we have no tests, or have a really little coverage of the tests. So
Mhm.
in this case, I would say we worked as a POC, or uh,
Mhm.
it would be great if we can cover everything with tests, but we have just the important part covered by tests.
Mhm. Yeah, and Taras also continues, or any sort of penetration testing. I didn't read it in full. Okay. So, any recommendations for tech stack to implement Telegram bots, JavaScript, Python, something else?
Uh, so last time I used serverless functions for Telegram bot, and I use it in JavaScript. By Python works as a serverless function as well. You can use it as it in any what if you like more Python, you can choose it. If JavaScript, you can choose JavaScript.
Mm. I see. Thank you. And looks like there are no other questions from Taras and no other questions from other participants. So, thank you so much, Andrey, for joining. Thank you for what you do, you and everyone who participates in such kind of projects.